She's in My Hero Academia Plus Ultra. Manga, anime, news, and more. Plus Ultra.
Hello and welcome to episode 97 of the My Hero Academia podcast. My name is Gary, and today we are going to cover manga chapter 268, Scramble. With me are regulars, Kendra.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest, Nick. Say hello, Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Yeah. I know that's, my typical response too. But let's start with the news.
So we do have a date for when Hero Rising is coming out. It's going to be July 15th. That's the Japan release date, though. So in English, it'll probably be a little longer. But the world as it is, it makes sense. But Horikoshi is going to be a guest in the 9th volume of the One Piece magazine, which is kind of cool. And then the rest of it is there are a few cafe stuffs still going on at the end of April, but they're most likely going to get canceled. The orchestra concert that's happening in May is still listed, but who knows what'll happen. But if anyone goes, have fun. It sounds cool. And we do have an author comment from Horikoshi this week saying, I was moved by the Hawa Dharma talk at a funeral. I did an internet search because I wanted to learn more of it and found the H1 Grand Prix. I want more. I looked up Hawa Dharma and it seems like it's a Buddhist thing, so I have no idea how it turned into racing.
I have no info. I have no idea what that is.
Is H1 Grand Prix? It sounds like racing. Yeah, it's racing. It's Italian racing.
Oh, okay.
He did have a comment about something car related last chapter as well, if you remember.
Yeah.
Those 4x4s or whatever they were.
The little tiny cars. He dreamt of them running him over.
What is wrong? What's going on, Horikoshi?
It's what? Dharma talks. Apparently, it's the equivalent. The Dharma message is the equivalent of the Christian style sermon. The Hawa, it's the point in judo. It seems like it's also kind of involved with martial arts. I have no idea how Horikoshi connected that to the Grand Prix, but I salute him for it because he's creative. Woo. But we didn't mention it in the intro bit, but we're going to talk a little bit about our reactions to the anime as it just ended, and we want to start off with Nick, as he hasn't been on for a little bit.
Sure. Thanks. Well, first of all, by the way, thanks again for having me. It's a real pleasure and honor. I appreciate every time. The anime, it ended on a very strong note, for certain. That Endeavor fight, that was... You could say it really heated up at the end there, eh?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I thought it was really well animated. I guess my overall thoughts on the season, I know a lot of people weren't happy with certain parts of the animation, but I had a really fun time with it. This season definitely drew out a lot of emotions from me compared to other seasons, and that's, a lot of that is the content of it, between saving Eri and, Overhaul and, the loss of Night Eye and Mirio's quirk. And there's a lot going on here that is very emotional. But I think they did a good job with the music. I think when it counted, the animation was spot on. I think they did a really good job with the presentation. Endeavor's fight was cool as heck. I still don't like him. I don't have to like him. But the fight was great, okay? It's kind of like they say, I guess, I forget who says it. Endeavor the hero is pretty great. Endeavor the person is a dirtbag. But no, I was real impressed. I really enjoyed every single episode. I think one of my favorites, honestly, though, was probably the performance, the Hero 2 song. I thought that was great. And maybe it was because reading it week to week, it was that was, I think, the chapter Horikoshi was super rushed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like just pencil sketches for half the chapter. And it was just kind of like, okay, yeah. But hearing the song and actually seeing Aries' reaction to everything, I teared up a little bit. I thought it was really good. So that's kind of my overall thoughts. I thought it was a great ride.
It was very, very fun, and just kind of like it did a really good way of having Overhaul and like the dark aspect to it, and then you get like trying to get rid of that with the school festival, and then like the Endeavor fight was maybe a little too fast, but I think it's like a good note to end on with his like celebration and being like, yeah. Because other than if it had gone a bit further, it would have been too big of a cliffhanger, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was good overall. I think like for me, I did like the song, but I was just a little disappointed that the song didn't have like a little bit more oomph to it, I guess. But that's just being nitpicky. So, But anyone else want to say their anime thoughts?
I really like the Overhaul arc. That's my favorite in the manga, so I was pretty happy about that. I know it's really dark and really long, but still, like it adds like gravity to the series quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like starting with Big Sis Meg, like we hadn't really had any casualties of more major players, so that was, the whole series to me takes a turn there. And I would say, and I enjoyed the light stuff. I like Gentle and La Brava probably more animated, even though I did like them in the manga.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, once they finally got to the school festival arc, I did feel like it dragged a little bit getting to it, like, with the planning stages, because that's not really the interesting part of it. But, yeah, I did enjoy it when it actually happened. And then the final episode with the Endeavor versus High End, I think that's could be my favorite episode of the series. I have to like go back and make sure, but I was really affected by it. It was visually really appealing, had high stakes in it, and overall it was a really good adaptation. James, do you have any thoughts?
What are my thoughts on it? Well, I really did like the animated sequence for the Hero 2 stuff because, like Nick said, it was just kind of in sketches when the manga came out because I believe it was mentioned before. I think it was during Golden Week and Horikoshi didn't have enough time to animate it, so I was patiently waiting for that moment because I didn't even buy the volume for that either because I'm like, no, I want to wait for this to be animated. As far as Overhaul's arc, it was okay. I didn't really like it too much. I didn't like Overhaul the character. I mean, he was like a villain, but not the best for me.
I do love Eri though. I think like Eri is like one of the most like interesting or like the best thing to come out of that arc because like it's kind of you get all that villainy and then you get like the survivor of the villainy and that's why I think like you really can't separate Overhaul arc from the school festival. Because both of them are saving Eri.
Mm-hmm.
But one of them is more like, rah, rah, rah. The other one's more like the emotional side of it, even though like it's not 100% fixed. That's why like Gentle bothers me because it interrupts the saving Eri a little bit. Or it's like another thing in the way of it. But I really like Gentle. I think it's kind of cool to see someone who's not like Stain in that they're not like, or I guess Stain is very much like he's attacking people still too, but he's not like super involved with the League. I don't know. He's the Superman villain, basically. But is that all of our thoughts on the anime, or does anyone have anything else they want to shoot out?
I will say that I did get really emotional during that scene though when Eri smiled again. Yeah.
I teared up. I definitely teared up. I don't know, maybe the anime made that feel like a stronger moment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for me, I don't know, but it got emotional for me too.
It was kind of hard for me to like remember what she had gone through, like how traumatizing it was and how she never had that much of a great life. And so when they would like reiterate that, it would be like, oh yeah, like she's been through a lot of crap. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the anime for me on that too, but for certain, like, the different random clips where they would show like her arm just lying there with blood, like in a pool of blood. It just like
Ooh.
it was like, oh yeah, that happened. That
Yeah.
was rough. So I think the anime did a better job. Normally I'm more of a, hey, manga did this better, but it is what it is. Anime's fun, but I think the anime definitely was able to bring a lot of that to the surface better.
I guess for me, my only thing is like when she had that like the darkness hanging over and it got blown away. It looked too much like Dark Shadow to me.
I was about to say, it was the second time I watched it with my daughter because she loves the music video. It was like, wait, that's not Tokoyami. Okay, I get it now. I see it.
Yeah, so that's like my only complaint, but like the rest of it was really good, so But it still hits you emotionally because it's like she's finally like free for a second, or free forever. Yeah. Woo. Are we ready to move on to the next segment?
Yes.
This is my hero academia.
All right, and now for the manga, which is chapter 268, Scramble. And we start off, we see the path that Mirko kind of already cleared through. You can see all the body parts of the Nomus in there. And we says the small time Nomu popped out from here. This path should be a shortcut. And it's Endeavor bursting through. And on the next panel, we get, I believe it's Crust and Saber, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I think Caleb said it was Saber, I believe. I can't recall, but anyways, they're fighting a Nomu. It has a lot of mouths. It's scary. And Endeavor's saying, "What's the holdup, Crust?" "Endeavor, this one's regeneration is giving us trouble." And somebody saying, "Don't worry." And we see the Nobu like act surprised in the next panel, and it's Eraserhead saying, "I'll erase it." And he glares on through. And we see, is this from the previous chapter? Well, we see one of the Nomus getting busted through the glass, like through the lab. I'm imagining that's from one of the earlier chapters. But yeah, we see them bursting through, and we see President Mike yelling into the void. And Crust fighting another Nomu.
Yeah, and next we have I think it's the Nomu saying, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, is that some kind of like reference I don't understand? But I think he's just like screeching at his death.
Their vocabulary is impeccable as always.
Yeah.
I thought it was a name for a second, but I was like, what?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Well, he'll forever go down as Gyapamya. Whose foot is stepping on his head though? Because they're killing it. Is that Endeavor?
I think
No, that's
Endeavor's
Endeavor's
fist.
Oh, Endeavor's fist. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And then Endeavor is next, and he's thinking, under its skin, layers and layers of bone. And Eraserhead yells, "Endeavor!" After staring at the two in front, there was a brief lag before I spotted the one back. And so there's three Nomu, that Eraser saw. And he says, "Hurry and finish that one off." And so he does like a little blasty blast with his fist. And then we have like tentacles coming from a Nomu flying down the hallway. Then we get a nice shot of Mirko with a half-bloodied face, and her leg is coming down. And then it says, "The second this guy came into view, my rabbit survival instincts told me that this dude is bad news." Oh, I'm getting Chrome voice in my head.
This is bad news.
Yeah. Then it can't be released into the world no matter the cost. And it's a close-up shot of Shigaraki in the tank. And she's lowering her leg at the tank to crush it. And Doctor yells, "Stop that!" With a thok, she cracks open the tank. And we see that his completion status of his upgrade is 74%.
Oh, I just wanted to say that you could put like, I think we've done it before with Shigaraki, but you could put googly eyes over his mask. Or it's a sleeping mask! But what are the sleeping mask things?
I wanted to mention that all that moisture and he still has chapped lips.
How is he not hydrated? That makes no sense.
Oh, and he also has like two circles on his cheeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's blushing.
It's on either side, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's part of the mask or it's a new quirk. Like,
I think that is a mask.
I think it's like the face mask. He's got to be able to breathe in this thing, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
You can see it
still
at
have
the
dry
bottom.
lips then.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Tube that's, yeah.
He's not getting more moles when Sophie's like, oh, you could just grow moles, and I was like, why?
His one condition was that he wanted to keep his dry lips, so he kept the mask
It's his
on there.
aesthetic.
Yeah. Very, very important to him. But then next we see more shots of where the Nomu were, and the woman, as she's called, is thinking of everyone's different quirks: voice, shield, laser, physical enhancement, saber. And so laser is the dude who has like the one eye. He has the eye patch laser, which makes him like, I don't know, stereotypical laser man. And so she's thinking, so the one nullifying my quirks right now must be that one. I was disabled the moment he appeared, but what triggered it? He didn't touch me. He's hiding his eyes. Could it be sight? It must be. And I do like that this shot of Endeavor is kind of like a zoom in of the one right above. So I wonder if maybe she has like an eye vision quirk. Because it's definitely like a bit of a rougher looking drawing. So it definitely feels...
I was going to say, sorry, that was my exact thought, was that they basically took the above panel and just zoomed in on it, which is a very interesting choice, because you can really see the strokes of the pencil, or the writing tool, like way more clear.
And I feel like it's a good like narrative of her thought process, like zooming in and it being like the more detail up close. I don't know. I like that idea.
And I just realized her brain is literally whirring as she's thinking.
Oh, yeah.
And she's wondering, but how do you undo the effect? Is it on a time limit? Or maybe... much better. And the two other heroes are just like standing there. They're not doing anything. And then the laser boy says, it's running! Even just its body alone is capable of insane speed. And they're standing there and it's ducking behind one of the two test tubes. And he's thinking, wait, is it avoiding my gaze on purpose? And she gets hit by a laser. It says, mind and body feel so very clear. Feels amazing. And then she becomes two-butt woman. Or she swells up her knee and, like, lower calf. And it's just... It looks like a butt.
Yeah. I gotta say it. I'm really sorry in advance, but it looks like woman got back.
As you got buns, huh? Yeah. I think Sophie also wanted to point that out as well, so I will doubly shout out. But I guess it's I don't know. It also has like a very cool sound effect, boop. And then she goes, liquefaction plus rupture. And her legs explode, and she's just shooting out goop. She's also breaking the other test tubes, containment units. And Shield does everyone a solid. He makes shields. I guess like it's nice that he doesn't have to be touching it to make it. Or I guess maybe he touched it really quick along there. Or he's just like throwing them. And Eraserhead's hair is on point here. It looks very cool. Endeavor's also doing some flame stuff. He's getting hit. I wonder is it acidic or is it just a liquid? Like, is it hurting them? And there's some weird Badoom, like she's fallen down. So it's like goop plus she has a tentacle now. So like, what was the point of the goop? Or is that like helping her run away? I don't understand what's happening with the tentacles. Or where they came from.
It looks like Endeavor's punching her in the face too in that panel after Endeavor where she's going badump. But either that or is Endeavor's well, wait a minute. Endeavor's not with woman. Endeavor is getting close to Mirko.
But I guess definitely his fist.
Woman is right behind Mirko, because in the last chapter he was on his way.
Or this is a little bit behind, I think.
Right. Yeah, because last chapter, woman identified voice, shield, laser, physical, and saber. She never said anything about Endeavor, so Endeavor wasn't in her line of sight. So I think Endeavor is punching tentacle hair, maybe.
Oh, I think you're right.
It's really strange transition, but I guess they're close enough in proximity to where Big Buns woman is shooting the shots and hitting Endeavor. It's chaos. It's just chaos.
I think you're right.
I think so too, because her eyes are a lot different than that. So.
Yes. Sorry, keep going. I just realized that now. I guess I've read the chapter like only a few times. So Tentacle Man, Nomu is attacking, and what happens next?
So then we see Miriko, who's still attempting to break Shigaraki's cage, and it looks like she's getting grabbed. It says grabbed. It looks like she's getting pierced in the only remaining limb she has left not damaged, and getting yanked back, and Doctor is freaking out, but Miriko still managed to pull off a Luna Arc. Bam! It just looks like she's destroying the container, and Ujiko is freaking out with booms and the computer's breaking all over the place. But it looks like Mirko's then being dragged back by the tentacle. Crap! She screams, and then Endeavor comes in and shoots and saves her, and we get another good Doctor face. Gah! That's been my favorite part of this whole arc. And so then he's no, because it looks like, I think he's only like at 75% right now, maybe. Mm-hmm. And Endeavor's Miriko, and she doesn't really care about anything. Finish him off. Shigaraki's in there. The old fart too. And then we see a vision of I forget his name. Shirakumo, thank you. Sad Shirakumo. And she's basically telling them, we can't let Shigaraki wake up, as Endeavor and President Mike look on very, very angry.
Eraserhead.
Eraserhead. Yes, thank you. They look like they're straight up about to kill Doctor.
Yeah, they're JoJo posing hard.
Yeah. they're not happy.
That shot reminds me of Nichijou when the girls are playing basically Mother May I. And like waiting for their turn to like move. Or red light, green light. That's what it is.
I want to be the one to kill him.
Yeah. They both have their vendettas.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I wonder, because right now it kind of seems like President Mike is the one we don't need to worry about, but I wonder if it'll flip.
Yeah. Because President Mike's the one who's been letting it out so far, right? Mm-hmm. He's like been screaming and not happy about it, but it seems like Eraserhead's really just been kind of stewing. So I think you're right. I think we definitely could see a flip there.
Yeah. But to jump back a little bit, James, what were your thoughts on the chapter?
I actually enjoyed this one a lot. Surprisingly.
Surprisingly?
Because I'm usually like, it's okay, it's alright. But no. It's really odd that woman, I don't know why they just named her woman, but has like high intelligence, it seems. Like, so far we have seen the high-end Nomus kind of show some intelligence, but this one's like, she has like deduction and stuff like that. She's able to like quickly deduce who's the one that was causing her like to lose her quirk for a little bit. So that's really interesting. As well as, I still don't know what the liquefaction and rupture was. Like, I don't know if it was acid or what the deal is.
Sharp water. I don't know.
Sharp water. Fishman karate. But other than that, Mirko just being a boss as always. She's literally like sacrificing a lot of her body for it. She's lost her arm, part of her ear, part of her face already, and she's still going strong. And what else? I also do like the Doctor's expressions, just because like they're always so ridiculous. And I thought when you said his name, Nick, I thought you said Fujiko for a minute.
Oh.
Like Fujiko is in this.
No. My bad.
Yeah. And then
No, I was gonna say I don't know how he has any snot left. He should be
Yeah, I know. He's
dry.
just like dry. Yeah.
Maybe that's one of his quirks.
He has a lot of snot. That's gross.
Ever flowing.
Somebody get that man a Zyrtec.
So I'm guessing they're gonna fight him at 75% is what I'm thinking. If he breaks out, unless they're able to catch him before he even like fully like gets out of the glass case. And then also the little bit with Shirakumo makes me kind of sad just seeing him again.
Mm-hmm.
So I do hope President Mike and Eraserhead do get their revenge.
Any other thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Thanks, Gary.
Okay. I'm gonna be a James this week and say this was just okay for me. I don't know. I like the background and story chapters more than the pure action ones because it just felt like we already got a lot of like this fight in this room. You know what I mean? And I feel like it could have been summed up in fewer panels, like Miracle busting the thing and everybody gets there, as opposed to more Nomu fight. And the Nomu fights generally are pretty hard to follow because they have like we have no idea what's going on with their quirks, and that's kind of the point, of course. I mean, but it was a fine chapter. It's it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I think it's very foreboding that like they're not going to defeat Shigaraki this easily. It's going to be a way bigger part of the story than just defeating him in the next chapter. There's no possible way. As to like if he's going to kill anybody, I don't. Maybe one or two. I can't imagine him killing everybody in the scene. So I look forward to what's next. This is kind of like a chapter leading to more interesting things, is what it kind of feels like to me.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts?
No, that's all for me.
It took me a little bit to realize, like, oh yeah, like it kind of cut away from the Hawks fight. And I think like it did a good job of that, kind of what we've been like, oh yeah, Eraserhead's here. I really liked the bit when he's peeking out, saying like, I'll erase it, because he's almost like on the panel divide, which is kind of cool. But I don't really like that it's like a few seconds behind last chapter, because then we like already know that Endeavor's coming. And like the woman's rupture thing was literally pointless. I guess like the point of it might be in next chapter when she's blinded Eraserhead that he can't see, because now he can't see because she like did that rupture, I guess, even though like she could only do the rupture because he couldn't see her. So I don't really get the point of it. But it looked cool. Maybe Horikoshi just wanted to draw a butt.
He's got Boichi influence,
I guess. Endeavor rushes in is cool. I don't stop piercing Mirko with things. I don't like. But I guess like, it keeps like one-upping itself though, which is like cool. Like she's just like a ragdoll right now, but I love that she still keeps going, like that Luna arc and that BAM with a really big B, and then like she separates the AM. I really want Eraserhead to look, because like if Eraserhead looks at the Doctor, he's done, because like he'll become an old man, or he's already an old man. He'll become like the really like zombie-ish looking figure we saw with the copy. But as for Shigaraki, they should have just unplugged him or something. It's like breaking the glass doesn't kill him, but I guess that's what they want Endeavor to do. I don't know. I don't want anyone here to die. I don't know. This could get...
Besides the Doctor.
Yeah, he can kill the Doctor accidentally, but that might piss off the other people. But I'll pass it on. Or wait, Nick, what are your thoughts?
No, yeah, sure. I'm actually going to be a little in the middle here. At first, my first time reading it, I was like, yeah, it's an okay chapter. And since reading it with y'all, I'm actually enjoying it a heck of a lot more. Mm-hmm. Let's see. A couple of different things that caught my eye. Kind of like James had said, the woman's analytical skills are really scary for a Nomu. Like we've seen other Nomu like high end Hood Hood had some very high thoughts, but it was still very slow paced, especially in the anime where it was like slow talking and it took him a while to get his thoughts together. But like Woman was straight to the point. Like this is happening. That means this. So that means this, and that means this. It was like, wow, that's scary. So it seems like, because I know Doctor had mentioned it, they weren't, ready and able to get their, what do you say, like 10 hours for them to really get up and running.
Mm-hmm.
So this is happening a lot faster than that, I would say. So if this is that fast, I'm scared to think what they could do after 10 hours. Let's see. Yeah, Woman's Got Back was just strange. Okay, moving on. Mirako, God, she just puts in the work every single time we see her now. I'm terrified she's not making out of this alive because of the fact that she's missing one arm and every other appendage has been pierced, and she is not stopping. I mean, that leg should be heavily damaged. It got pierced last chapter, and it still busted through the tank. Like, in theory, just looking at it from an anatomy standpoint, she probably lost that foot after the impact. Like, she's not going to make it, and that depresses me because I think she's probably one of the strongest women, if not the strongest woman in this series by far at this point, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, she's put in the work, and it finally took us long enough to get there. So I hate seeing her. I'm with you, Kendra. She's like a rag doll, and I hate watching it. It hurts me every single time something else happens to her.
Mm-hmm. But I love that she's badass and that Horikoshi like isn't afraid she's not like a porcelain doll that can't get dirty. But like it's kind of a mix. So it's like I don't know. I like that Horikoshi's doing that, but at the same time, I'm like, stop hurting her. I like her.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. He's not afraid of hurting her. No, obviously she has taken hits, far too many. But gosh, and even still, like she is like falling apart, and she's still telling everyone like, kill him, kill Shigaraki.
Yeah.
No, he's the problem. So she is a determined badass. Like, I love Mirako. She's awesome. Yeah, being reminded of Shirakumo again, that always hurts. And just, I think they're gonna go ham. But to kind of circle back to Gary. Yeah, there's no way they're winning this fight, especially once Shigaraki wakes up. There's no way. I guess my big question is what's going to happen then, because it's really, I can only think of three scenarios. One, a complete slaughter, which I don't think he'll do that. I don't think Horikoshi would kill off every single person here. Two, I mean, I could see him, maybe doing some damage and then pulling a Cell and being like from Dragon Ball and just being like, all right, I'm going to go get even stronger and then I'll kill you all, like just because he's insane. Or three, some kind of is the least likely. I can't see him escaping. I guess the big question is he's not getting to 100% either, though. Like it's been 4 or 5 chapters and he's only gained 3%, and they're busting open the capsule. He's not getting to 100%. So what does that mean for the rest of the story? Like, will he go and be able to get 100% somewhere else after all of this, or will he just be 75% and that's just what he is now? So it's, for me, once I started realizing all these things and questioning everything, it definitely turned into a much more fun chapter, with the ending basically just kind of being like a Willy Wonka. The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last.
Yeah. I guess he's kind of like a preemie baby, but murderous.
Very, very murderous preemie baby. Gosh. And I mean, because I haven't been able to be a part of these conversations, I do want to ask, do we think he's kind of becoming like a 9 in essence? Like he's going to come out of this with multiple quirks on top of his destroy everything quirk?
I think so. But I wonder, like, it has to be more than 9, though. So I wonder if, I don't think he'll be Shigaraki when he wakes up. Like, I think he might be mindless, like, not there. And then maybe he starts to come back a little bit or something. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm thinking he's going to be similar to All for One in having who knows how many quirks, but not able to transfer quirks unless because we haven't. Well, I don't know how All for One could transfer his own quirk to Shigaraki in this situation because he was brought to prison right away. But that would be interesting if he had that quirk as well. But I think he's just gonna have a bunch of quirks.
I guess they could have injected if they like had vials of All for One, or if they had vials of All for One, it like available, and then they just inject him with it.
Because remember how in that fight against All Might, that final fight between those two, how he said, like, basically what you have, or this is All for One talking, but what you have left of One for All is just like the remaining of it, like it's running out. I know you don't have it anymore. So what if he was like saying that and also applying it to himself? Like he still has the vestige of All for One, but it seems like he still has it, but he actually doesn't. I don't know if that's possible.
I guess Shigaraki doesn't act like that, though, because I think Shigaraki would have been a lot more powerful already then, rather than having to go to the doctor.
Right. Well, I'm thinking this whole process is like getting his body prepared for that, and that All for One's quirk is in a jar. You know, is basically what I was thinking. But it's kind of a crackpot theory.
James.
I was gonna say that, like, I was looking back at some of the earlier chapters, which was like I want to say chapter 255, where we first see the doctor kind of experiment on him, but it really doesn't give any details because it just says that he says, with sense of self still fully intact, a man who possesses unlimited power, the ultimate being sought after by all for one in myself, my masterpiece. So I don't know what he means by a man who possesses unlimited power. So.
And that's like woman. This chapter is saying mind and body feel so very clear. So I wonder if she's like his attempt at making that. So is he going to be a Nomu, but just the mind's a bit more there? Because she seems very there.
Yeah, right. And that's what I get a sense when he says with sense of self still intact. So I'm guessing he is probably making him a Nomu, but he's still going to be Tomura Shigaraki is what I'm assuming.
Because she, like, the woman doesn't really have a personality. She's very smart at fighting and can, like, analyze stuff, but it's not like she has, like, a quirky personality or anything like that. And I just, as you're talking, I was like, what if Eraserhead dies?
No.
Because that would be a good way to hit the students really hard. He's there if he snaps, or, like, President Mike snaps. Because I feel like President Mike was so vocal, but he was also saying, like, oh, what will you do? He's like, oh, I'll sing the karaoke and blah, blah, blah. That since he is more, like, out there about how he's feeling, he's going to be able to hold back. Well, Eraserhead might not be able to, and he might just, like, risk it all. Because, like, could he just look at Shigaraki? Like, how many quirks can he stop when he's looking at someone? So I'm really scared for him, because it would be a good way to motivate Deku. Like, you couldn't kill his teacher, All Might, so what if his teacher dies?
And, yeah, I can say I don't want to see Eraserhead rubbed out.
No. Please no.
That was good. I really hope not, but, like, Endeavor, his story's not over yet, still.
Right.
I guess maybe...
If anything... I was just going to say, if anything, like, I'd rather them incapacitated, like, in comas, like, all of them, as opposed to getting killed. But I feel like the top 10 are going to get a major hit, and that's kind of like a major point of the billboard thing. We got introduced to the top 10, and we're going to see, like, everybody's, like, hope for heroes go away as, like, the top 10 are at least incapacitated. That's kind of where my thought is as to where this is going. But I don't know.
If Shigaraki does have All for One, then maybe he will steal Eraserhead's quirk, because that's a really powerful quirk to have in villain's control. Like, he could just look at Deku. That's, I think, is that Eraserhead definitely can stop one for all, because he's done it before, like Deku throwing the ball, it didn't work.
Right.
So that would be a good counter to Deku. So maybe he could lose his quirk, but that's all like if he actually does have a little bit. Because I think also the doctor said that he would be able to like have the same. He said something about the others, like all for one, one for all. He said something about them like having the powers of that. And I wonder then if maybe the same thing goes for Deku, that when the brother transferred it into his brother, he put a bit of himself in there, like his own quirk is stored in there as well. Because I guess to transfer it to him, he had to hold it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's another wielder. So then, yeah, okay, this is just straight up nonsense, but I would say that the original wielder is not one for all. Oh my god. It's not all for one. It's actually one for all. Oh my god. Whatever, you know what I mean. Like, Evil Brother. I've been avoiding saying it because I hate their names so much. Just tell me their names. That Evil Brother is the original wielder, so his quirk, or like he stole it from whoever the original person was. But it's just, no, because when he took it, it was just the power one. And then the transfer part was from Good Brother. So,
Good Brother's hidden quirk was transfer power, and then he gave him superpower, and then he was like, guess what, haha.
But I think it was it power that grew over time or something? Or was it,
stockpile.
Stockpile. So I would say then maybe if he had stockpile for a little bit, a bit of his quirk might be in it, and he didn't know it. But that's a major reach. And that was a big rant, so I'm sorry. But I don't know. I'm just worried. Maybe everyone loses their quirks or something. I don't want anyone to die.
And I was looking back too. There's really no information throughout this entire year so far, like specifically referring to Shigaraki.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wonder. Yeah, it's really. Will he even be able to do anything at 75%? Like, I don't know. It's all very, even if he can like croak out and just say like Gigantomachia, wreck shit. Like, how good is Gigantomachia's hearing? Does he have like a radio near him?
He has that little.
No, I mean, does Shigaraki have a radio to radio to Gigantomachia?
I don't know. He does have that really fancy mask on. Maybe there's like a built-in radio in there or something.
I'm sure there's some equipment in there because that's where the doctor gives commands, or at least keeps track of Gigantomachia. And I do want to mention the official translator, Caleb Cook at CD Cubed on Twitter. Like, he did mention that that's a possibility, that he even being at 75%, he could still give the order for Gigantomachia to Rampage, and I feel like that is a likely way this is going to go.
Oh, that's 100% true. Because we know that pretty much that Gigantomachia only answers to, All for One and Shigaraki now, so he just has to get out and say, hey, go. And that's going to completely go the opposite way that it's been going at the mansion's front. 100%.
And I guess the problem might be that President Mike and Eraserhead will want to focus on the doctor instead of Shigaraki.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe when they go in, they're like, Endeavor, you gotta look at Shigaraki, and he's like, I've got my eyes on this asshole, or something. But, I don't know, it's all, like, I think Eraserhead is very smart, though, so maybe he will be able to control his anger. And I do like the shot of Shirakomo was like a whole double-page spread in the chapter, and now it's just like a little thingy. But, yeah, I don't know. Anything could happen, and, there is a break next week, but good. Rest up. Take care. Drink your fluids, Horikoshi. Because there was a case where someone tested positive at Shonen Jump, or at Shueisha, but not anyone who, like, interacts with the authors or anything. But even still, like, it's human lives are at stake, so manga comes second to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But do we have any other thoughts on the manga, or about the break, I guess, but maybe more on the manga about this chapter? No.
This is
so we do have an email. We got it just a little bit before we start recording, so good timing. And it says here, hello, MHA Pod, I am here with my first email to you guys. Yay! I apologize in advance for how scattered my thoughts are, but oh my god, this chapter! Same. I am so scared for Eraserhead, Present Mike, and all the pro heroes near Shigaraki. But, more importantly, where are Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki? I could be remembering this wrong, but weren't they with Endeavor when they first arrived at the hospital? I'm so scared for them too. This is a very mean cliffhanger to leave us on right before a break. I just want to answer that really quickly, that Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki are actually evacuating the city. So they're not here at all. But I do wonder how maybe they'll see it from like far away or something, or they see like Shigaraki flying away and like, oh no, something's wrong.
I feel like they're at a safe distance at the moment, so yeah, they could. Yeah, I think they could see it from afar because they're in the same city as the hospital, right?
Yeah, but I guess it just depends if there's if Endeavor kind of does a fire bomb again, and Todoroki tries to run to them or something. Depends how far. I guess how close is the city? What's the city close to? Is it close to the hospital? Or I guess the hospital would be in a city, right?
I think so. And then the villa is remote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the villa's in the mountains. Because Flaming was like there's heroes in the mountains or something like that.
Yeah, there's heroes in damn hills.
Burning. Who called her Flaming? Well, I know I called her Flaming, but what was... I don't know. But who knows? Honestly, Horikoshi can do whatever they want. And then they say, speaking of the break, I read the announcement from Weekly Shonen Jump, and I'm confused. Does this mean we'll get a double chapter on the next release? Since it's a double issue? Unfortunately, I don't know. No, it's just going to be a single chapter. It is like really confusing, but they just do like double issues usually on like after a holiday or something. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know why they call it that, but I guess it's because it's covering 2 weeks. But yeah, it's just one chapter as far as I can tell. And then finally, I loved hearing Derek's traitor theory last week. I live for plot twists like that, but I hate to break it to you, he's wrong. In fact, everyone is wrong. I know the truth, and the truth is that there is no traitor. Ha 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 ha. But seriously, though, I'm reading it as written, maybe with a little bit extra. This is something I've been thinking about for a while now. I'm fairly new to the podcast, so I apologize if you guys have talked about this already, but my theory is that Deku or All Might is the traitor. At the end of chapter 209, we hear All For One claiming to hear his little brother's voice, which came shortly after Deku's dream of the predecessors. Clearly, All For One maintains a connection with One For All, so I think he was able to get inside either Deku or All Might's head to get the information out of them without them even knowing. This is how the League always seemed to know exactly where they were, like USJ or the training camp, up until All For One was imprisoned. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, and thanks for all you do. Much love, Alex. And Gary, I know, Gary, I think you've touched on this theory before. Do you want to go have at it? Or do you have any updates for your theory?
Yeah, this was, I think, really early on when I started interacting through email too. This was one that I thought. I still think Ochiko is more likely, or I want her to be at least. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad theory because there are several moments where, especially when at the end of chapter 209, like Alex mentioned, where he definitely senses that something is going on at the very least. So it might not be totally being able to read Deku's thoughts or mind or anything like that, but he might be able to sense just like the glimpse of what is going on with One For All.
For me, I'm just trying to think. I don't think Shigaraki didn't know it was transferred though when they were at USJ. Or I guess he thought he might be. Or I guess he was like, "Why are you still strong?" So maybe that's why they went in for the kill especially. But then they would have also they didn't know about Deku because they didn't like single out Deku, they just teleported him away.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess like if you're seeing from Deku's perspective, it's a bit harder to tell it's Deku unless like he can like look at him and he's looking in a mirror. It does like it's a bit too much Harry Potter Voldemort for me though, when it's like I see into your mind. Yeah.
One of the things that comes to mind to me with this theory is when All Might was fighting, All for One, and in the middle of the fight, I believe, he says something along the lines of, Izuku Midoriya has the quirk now, doesn't he? And that comment is an interesting comment because of the fact that, one, it could be taken one of two ways, but one, it almost sounds as if he's not positive. He thinks that that's who has it, but he doesn't know. Now, but the other side to that coin, which is completely just, not, it's going to put me right dead back center, is the fact that he may sense that, maybe Deku has it, but he's not sure. So that could tie back into maybe there's some type of connection there, but it's not as ironclad as, yes, I see what he's doing, like in Harry Potter, where it was, he's going here next. Damn. Mm-hmm. It could be some type of sensing, but I don't think it's as ironclad as Harry Potter. If it's there at all, because he could have been like unsure and he's just observing, because as we know, All for One is very intelligent, and he could have just watched everything and been like, okay, I think I get it. And watching some of the earlier seasons again with my 5-year-old, there is a point after the USJ where Shigaraki tells All for One, there was one guy who punched my Nomu like All Might. And that could have then just been like, because All for One is on their end of the TV, and he goes, really? Like he suspected, that's interesting. He could have then just simply watched the sports festival and been like, okay, it's him. That could go either way for me, but I'm kind of personally leaning towards, if anything, at best, it might be some kind of connection that he can just sense a little bit of him, but I don't think it's straight up. He can just go in there and be like, all right, I see what everybody's doing. Here's our plan.
Mm-hmm. It might just be more of like a GPS or like the location tracker or something.
Exactly. Yes. I could see that being a thing.
Oh, but I guess the thing is though, when someone broke into the school because they wanted to look at who was going to be at USJ, basically, because that's why they thought that All Might was going to be there. And I'm trying to think, because Shigaraki just destroyed the gate as a distraction. So that's the thing, is that someone had to go in. So, like, if the traitor is just Deku, and they're seeing, like, Deku location or mind reading, then they don't need the distraction, because someone went in? Or I don't know if someone went in, or if it was just a distraction, so then one of the students could run around, or maybe they just had, because they had less people then too, because they didn't have Dabby or Twice or anyone.
Oh, Twice.
So
too soon.
Or oh yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to think, like, that's the one bit where it's, because they had to go in there, so was that the traitor, or was that just like Shigaraki? Because Shigaraki, I think, was outside laughing at the press or something. I need to rewatch, but the traitor theories is all very interesting. But I think it might just be I really like the idea of there being a connection between All for One and One for All. Kind of like the Force, or like telepathy. I don't know, but who knows? Horikoshi knows. He's not telling us. I wish he would. But I think it's a good theory. I'm just like, it's a mystery.
Yeah. I can't 100% rule it out. It's just, it's more my opinion. That's how I feel, because I mean, it could be anything. It could be no traitor. I don't, at this point, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
where I'm at.
I think there has to be a traitor because of the training arc.
Mm-hmm.
That someone leaked that location, unless it is. But I don't know. I used to really like the Ochiko one. Mm-hmm. But she's too nice of a girl. Like, it can't be her. Like, she's too much of, like, one of the main characters. It's gonna be, like, Sugar Man or something dumb like that.
No, not Sugar Man.
Not Sato.
Because I think Invisible Girl, it's, like, she's invisible, it's so noticeable. Or it's so noticeable she's invisible. But I don't know. I don't want it to be one of like the characters who's mainly just sidelined that we don't really see that much.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, like, I think I said it before, like, Deku doesn't know. So I wonder if the traitor is one of the students who's at this attack raid, they're going to act. So it's going to get very interesting when they do, if they do. Because I think Aoyama isn't there. I know. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. Is all of Class A there?
I think they are.
I think he's at the villa, like, but not in the action team. Just kind of as like the backup.
Yeah, I think everyone's might be there just spread out. Because I remember the animal talkie man is there. Coda. I always want to call him Kendo. They start with K's. The same letter ones.
There's a bunch of Kodas too.
Yeah. Who knows? The traitor thing is almost something where I've like stopped caring about it, but at the same time, like I can't stop caring about it because like I know Horikoki's gonna punch us in the face with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting.
We haven't had any reminders of it in a long time. The one thing I just want to add about the USJ is like how they were like so sure that All Might was gonna be there, and then he wasn't there.
Ooh.
And like it could be that they were sensing the stronger portion of One for All, despite All Might having a little bit of it left, like kind of the last remaining part. And so that's what I was kind of wondering. But they obviously had information that was where they were headed. So I don't know.
That's a good point. I could see that being back in the hat of there is a strong connection. That's a good point.
I guess the only thing is that if they have a GPS on Deku or All Might, they wouldn't need to break into the school at all.
Right.
So, but maybe they didn't trust it. Like maybe Shigaraki's acting on his own.
So I was just gonna say maybe they were breaking in for like to get at Deku and or All Might, and it wasn't necessarily related, but it probably was related to the USJ.
But they didn't attack anyone there. They just...
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. That's the part where it's like, that's a weird moment. I was going to say, like, maybe Shigaraki doesn't know about the traitor and the doctor and evil dude. I don't want to say his name because I'm going to get it wrong. Kept it secret from him. But then he was the one who, like, broke into the school, though. So he had to know something was going on, unless there's, like, go troll them. I don't know.
Like, part of the feeling, too, I get from that is that they want to make society feel like UA isn't safe, so they want it shut down. That's kind of how I get some vibes as well. If that makes any sense, like trying to trip the security, so then parents start pulling their kids, or the public just say, "Hey, this isn't safe." That kind of thing, too. I don't know. It's a little abstract, though. But
yeah. He's just like gentle. Or it makes me think of Harry Potter again, how Dumbledore like didn't close the school even though like every single year something happened there.
Yeah.
Why is it when something happens it's always U20?
Exactly. Instead of the golden trio, it's just like
it's the whole class.
The whole class.
We sent them to an island and then they got a supervillain on it. I don't know what to tell you.
Like what? Which one of you guys has like the bad luck quirk or something? Like what is happening? Yeah. I don't know, but I guess like the students always being more the ones targeted makes it does. I don't know, because I think the location thing does make sense for the training camp. But anyways, we could go in circles about this forever just because there's only so much information. I did find it fascinating. I very much appreciate the email. Thank you, Alex. Do we have any other parting thoughts on the chapter or the email?
I think I'm good.
Yay. So let's start to round it out. Where can we find you, Nick?
So I am pretty much mostly just on Twitter at Nickarot, Nickarot. I talk about One Piece, My Hero, Final Fantasy, Persona, Animal Crossing, whatever, That's about it.
Nice. James, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter, and all of these are on Twitter, by the way, at That One Welder Guy. I also have the Kicking Stones podcast, which is a Dr. Stone manga read-through podcast at Dr. Stone Pod, as well as the Weeb Jammin' podcast, which is at Jammin' Weeb. We just got done recording our Trigun episode that should be out fairly soon. And that's about it.
Gary, where can we find you?
You can find me at Wrath of Giraffes, and I also am a fairly frequent guest on the Kicking Stones podcast and a regular member of the Weeb Jammin'.
Nice. And you can follow my co-host. You follow her on Twitter at Chopper's Antlers, and you can follow me at Sniper of My Heart. And I do have a few other one other podcast at Haikyuu Pod. Follow that if you really like Haikyuu. Check it out. And you can follow this podcast on Twitter at myheropod. Email us at myheropod@gmail.com. You can visit our website at www.myhapod. But send us emails, let us know, send us trader theories, because they're always fun, because it's like, if you have anything new, or if it's old stuff is fun too, because then you can kind of like look into it again, and maybe we should do a reread. We got the time, maybe. And I'm trying to think, if you like big butts and you cannot lie, go beyond!
Plus Ultra!
This is My Hero Academia Plus Ultra. Manga, anime, news and more. Plus Ultra.
Diddly-doo, do-do-do.